Hi, I'm Martin, and now you've just received your Kangen 8 unit. Fantastic, Enagic's flagship product, and today I'm going to talk about installing it. So, let's imagine you've just pulled it out the box. When you're pulling it out the box, just be very careful because this slides up. So I always tend to lay the box down, slide it out gently, and then stand the unit up. The first thing I'd say for you to do is to go underneath and the two pipes, the inlet and the outlet, just make sure that you tighten them up nice and tight so that they're all good. Also, things to be aware of is when you're bringing it and carrying it over towards the sink, that once again, you do not lift this bit. So, Enagic's products are already set up for you to use. They're all ready to go. The only thing that you need to do is add the tap connector. Now, unfortunately, some taps are either too small. It's very rare that they're too big, but it's usually that they're too small to connect to the adapters that come with them. So this is Enagic's metallic diverter. It comes standard with the K8. You also get a big white ugly thing that looks like a camera. The metallic diverter is the best way to go. Now, with this, what you do is you unscrew the end of these. It's usually hand tight, but if it's not, then you're probably gonna have to get some grips. However, I know that this is too small. This is actually about a 20 mil, and I need a 22 mil to go into the thread here. Also, what comes with it, this is actually a female. So they call it a female because the male thread would go into that. So the easiest way to think of it is that when we're actually screwing it on, we need to, if we've got a thread here, it will screw on. If it doesn't, if the thread's inside the tap, we're gonna have to put the little adapter that comes on it to create it into a male thread, okay? However, what we're gonna do today is, this is a rubber seal that helps me have the connection. That's 22 mil. And as you can see, it's a male thread. So when I screw this onto there, it screws on all nice and neat. What I'm gonna have to do, because this is too small and we're not changing the tap today, this is just for video purposes, I'm gonna slide this on and then I'm gonna tighten it up. Now this is gonna be a tight fitting, so I need to really give it a good push to get it on. So once it's on there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my screwdriver and I'm just going to undo this Jubilee clip. Now, if you are actually purchasing one of these rubbers to connect it on, it's very important that, in my opinion, you change the actual clip. Okay, because the clip's really small. I get a really thick, big one. They're called Jubilee clips in England. You can get them from the local DIY shop. And you're just going to tighten it up. Now, you're not going to do it too tight because you don't want the actual Jubilee clip to damage the rubber. But once you've put that in place, you can do a quick test to make sure it's all good. They're not designed to take much pressure, so they may leak a bit, so just bear that in mind. So this is the metallic diverter here, and as you can see, it's got a female thread, which means the thread's inside. Now, some taps have a male thread, so you can screw that on. However, not all taps do. Sometimes they have a female thread, and obviously female and a female don't go together. So Enagic give you this extension piece. Notice that there's a rubber on top, so you need to make sure you get in and take the rubber out of the tap first, and then put this, and as you can see, that's a male thread. So you screw that into the female, and then you have a male thread there for this female, and you screw it on. And that is actually what helps to seal it all in, and then you fit that into the tap, so it would actually like connect on, if you will, like that if we had a screw in tap. But with this one, we've actually got on this rubber, we've got a male thread, so we can screw that onto there. And just notice in that, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, that connects on there now like that. As I mentioned earlier, the only reason we've got this rubber on is because this tap's a 20 mil, not 22. So at this time, we're not changing the tap. We're just doing this for filming purposes to help you understand how to connect it up. And then the white pipe will go in there, as you'll see shortly. But then what you're going to do is you're going to unscrew this end off here, and you're going to get the actual inlet hose and you're going to slide it in. So it's just going to go in like that. And then all we're going to do is I'm going to put this in place and I'm going to tighten it on, and I'm going to spin this around. Now I want to make sure it's nice and about finger tight, and then I'm going to bring it around the back here. I'm going to offer it up to it and put it in place and just screw it on. Now if you want to get it a bit tighter, you're just going to turn that valve to help you get more of your fingers around it, but it doesn't need to be too tight. So now what we've got is it in place, it's all ready to go. We've plugged the unit in. One of the things that you might notice as well is these pipes sometimes are really flimsy, they just like drop. So what you've got to do is when you tighten it on the unit, you turn it that way to lock it in. But then what you want to do is hold it there and turn the pipe anti-clockwise. So clockwise to tighten it up, anti-clockwise to spin the pipe, and that's actually going to make it solid and lock in place. Also with your exit pipe, just make sure that's nice and tight, and then just put it out the way neat. So what we're going to do straight away is we're going to turn the water on, and then we're going to turn the valve, and the water is going to flow through here, and it's going to activate your unit. Once it activates your unit, the water is actually going to come out. And if this is a brand new unit for you, which it obviously is because we're doing this video on it, you're going to basically put the water on clean, and you're going to leave it running for 2 minutes. And that's going to flush out any buildup that may have just been in the unit, because they test all the units first, as well as just get any air blockages out the filter. So run it for about 2 to 3 minutes, then it's all good to go. So that's basically the install of the K8. Now, I do have the fluoride reduction kit, which I'm going to talk about in another video on how to install it. If you can see the filters at the back and you're wondering what they are, they're there to help remove fluoride. I believe fluoride's a neurotoxin, so that's just important if you want to know more around that. So very easy setup. As I mentioned, when you turn the metallic diverter and it's pointing down, that means water's coming out. When you turn it back towards the unit, the water's going to come out here. In another video, we talk about how to use the Kangen 8 unit, but I look forward to you experiencing incredible health and enjoying the benefits of owning the Enagic K8. Take care and bye for now.